G'day. Welcome back to the 100,000 to $1 million challenge. In today's video, I am ready to buy the dip. We'll begin by taking an overall look at the market. Then we'll look at some of my recent altcoin buys and sells in detail. Following that, I'll share a full list of all my trades since the last video. And then we'll finish up with a look at how the portfolio stands today. To begin with, on my Twitter, my most recent tweet 8 days ago, I said that I expect Bitcoin to consolidate at best and to retrace at worst. No change to 2023 highs occurring in Q2, but there could be a window here to buy some quality alts during retracements. This is the 4th of February. If we look at the Bitcoin chart, 4th of February we closed at 23,315, and since then we have had that big retracement. I mentioned the DXY in my tweet. You can see we bounced off support just over $100, and it's been pretty up since then, which is what really got me to thinking about this retracement happening in the crypto market. Now, in terms of what I'm looking at now for Bitcoin, there is definitely a short-term downtrend in play. Again, there's no change to my medium-term outlook, which is yellow line here towards the middle of the year. I'm still going to be really surprised if we don't hit at least 28,000. That's my central case. Now, there's still many weeks to go until then. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and this is a down that I mentioned in the tweet, and realistically, is 20,000 an area that needs to be tested? It probably is. 18,500, questionable. There's always that small chance that this market completely bombs if we break these lows at 15.5. Yeah, for sure. That's as good of a sign as you're going to get that it's time to get out of this market. But central case for now, I think 20,000 is really strong support. If we test that, we are going to get retraces all across the board. But for me, that is where I'm going to be ready to buy the dip. As you know, I've always been talking about Altcoin as a leader of the market. Since the last video, it really threatened to close above $100, and in fact there was one day here where it closed at 101,620. Next day closed below, and then we got the big flush. I do have buy orders working for Litecoin at $76 all the way down to $63. No guarantees that they're going to come in, that's for sure, and it's going to be a lot easier if they don't, to be honest. There's still no change. I'm looking to accumulate. If there is this big dump, I'm looking to accumulate it in Q1 and sell at the end of May. Let's take a look at ETH. Still, we've got this Shanghai upgrade hanging over the market. The last video they were talking about sometime in March. This is the latest information that we have, where developers are saying that there's going to be a mid-March, almost like a full run through on the testnet in mid-March, which then means mainnet date is either late March or early April. So let's see how that plays out with our timeline. That does complicate it a little bit because I'm looking, best guess, that 30 days before the actual mainnet upgrade, that's when I would expect that's my best guess of when there will be a top in ETH price and generally a top in the market before a retrace into the actual upgrade date and then a bounce following that. So if they're saying end of March, beginning of April, let's say something like this, 1st of April, that would mean that 1st of March is kind of my best guess for when it's beginning at a top. Now you can see that kind of putting all these ideas together, there was no mention. This is a very recent tweet. Before this, early March was the best guess. Mid to early March was the best guess. So you can see this almost like a front running a dump here. Now that it's kind of been pushed back to, let's say, end of March, beginning of April, I could see it's a little bit of sideways, even a little bit of up here, just based on that news. It doesn't discount, of course, what's happening with the dollar. It doesn't discount overall macro trends. but it is a pretty big factor, I think, in the crypto ecosystem. So certainly something that I'm really paying attention to. Now I do have, at the moment, at this point in time, I'm 73% allocated. So I've got 20%, 27% in cash on the sidelines. And if ETH does come into 1428, I've got a big buy order there. If ETH does come into 1281, I've got a big buy order there. And I'm more than happy to pick up ETH. No problems at all. So far, still obeying my red lines, so I'm really happy with that. Let's talk about some of my buys and sells. Okay, so paid network. I talked about this a lot in the last video. I accumulated 300,000 tokens at 1.68 cents all through here. Cost me about $5,000. I stayed up super late for the AMA. Well, okay, what they called an AMA. And I sold half of my position, so 150,000 tokens here at 2.93 cents. And the reason I did that is I was watching the AMA, and it wasn't really an AMA, it was actually a pre-recorded video. They just talked about things that they were thinking of doing. There was nothing tangible that was actually said. And based on that, I had no reason to hold it. Now, it is pretty cool when you trade these super thin markets that this is my order, putting in this big wick, this pico top, if you will. So that's a little bit cool. And then because there was no real follow through from the video after, I did exit my entire position. I don't have it's somewhere around here. I got rid of the rest of it, and overall for this trade, I was up 52.3%. So just over $2,500. Now, in terms of the trade, I'm happy enough with my planning and execution of the trade, but it really honestly was not my preference to sell, as I generally thought that they would do more with this project in Q1 and Q2, but it wasn't to be, and sometimes you just got to get out. In terms of launchpads, I'm also all out of S-Fund at this point in time, so I'm out of Certify. I'm out of most of my PokerStarter position. I've only got a very small position in PokerStarter, and that's just to kind of match what I'm seeing as this short-term outlook leading up into the ETH merge. Previous video I was talking about lossless. I picked this up at 15 cents. It was bouncing around 30 cents. I was talking about how it's just, I think, one of the strongest projects out there and super undervalued. I wasn't going to let it go, even at 30 cents, which is a double. We had this whole bounce around where we couldn't break 30, had the big retrace. Again, couldn't break 30, and at this point in time, I just said, okay, look, it cannot break this 30-cent resistance. Market's not looking great. I'm just going to get out half of my position at 30 cents. And so I've gone ahead and done that. I do have a order working at 21 cents. So if we retrace to 21 cents, I'll buy back what I sold. Essentially, I'm just going to have a bigger position than if I held the whole thing through 30 cents. Some other things. Now, not everything works out. Paid worked out. Lossless I've managed it well enough. Not everything works out. Something like Render, I bought at 53 cents. Had this massive move, and I saw key resistance at $2.25, and that's where I had my order. Now, for me, this is kind of almost the market leader. I mean, arguably. Obviously, you've got some other things out there like Aptos, just going crazy, all these kinds of things. But in terms of something that's established, for me, Render was almost the market leader. So I didn't see a major issue with getting to 225. As it was going up, I was tempted to move my order down, but part of my discipline is I set my order, I leave it, and got to $2.19, so super close to 225. This tells me a couple of things. This tells me that I guess the market is not going to be as strong as I thought it would be in Q1 and Q2. I mean, this is strong, don't get me wrong, but for what I see as the market leading coin, or one of the market leaders, I didn't think that 225 would be a massive issue. So just, put that in the mental notebook for later, that I'm going to have my kind of exit orders a little bit lower than, I guess, optimal. And they don't all work because I've still got my full bag from 53 cents and I haven't let anything go. If this does come back into about 90 cents, I will look to add, because I think it's that strong of a project with that good of a narrative. And we'll see how we go. I'm still expecting a higher price come, well, somewhere in May. I've got this blue arrow here because it's market leader. I think it'll top earlier than the general altcoin market. This is my theory. We'll see what plays out. But for now, I've still got my full bag. And it would be nice to get out some here so I could rebuy later on down. But sometimes that's just how it goes. I mean, there's plenty of examples of this. I bought Staffy pretty much here at 43 cents, just over 43 cents. Didn't even have time to think about putting an order on the next day. Next couple of days, I went to where did it go to? Like almost $1, I think, 99.3 cents. I had my order at $1.35, and looking at it, I chose. There's all these different resistances I've got here, and I chose this one, but this would have been a better one. This key resistance just under $1 makes a lot of sense, right? Key round number of $1. You're gonna have a lot of people selling just below that, so that would have made more sense for my order. Still got my full bag. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Just having a look at a coin that I haven't sold, which is Metis. Okay, I bought this at just over $21, and it almost did a 2x, and then we've retraced here. I've actually rebought this at $30, so on the retrace just above the 0.5, mainly looking at where this support is formed here. I just said to myself that this is a coin that I really want to accumulate as much as I possibly can of. I think it has great narratives. I think it has great tech. I think it pretty much has it all, and it hasn't had a crazy run yet. And I have added, so I'm going to monitor price carefully. I'm not taking profits on this one. Could come back to bite me, but so be it. I have conviction in this coin, and so I'm continuing to add. Just looking at a couple things that I bought. YFI, a bit of a dinosaur DeFi 1.0 coin. The reason why I've bought it is it's held its June lows, hasn't broken those lows, hasn't had a massive breakout, so it's a really nice consolidation, really nice base that's formed here. I've bought in at 7,800, 7,500, 7,150, so my average entry is 7,600. That's because my biggest order was the 7,800 order, and so at this point I'm planning to hold that. I see key resistance at about 18,000. That's kind of where I'd be looking to take some profits if we get there. And I guess the nice thing about this is that if we lose these lows here at about 5,000, then I know the story's probably over, so I should be able to get out without too much loss. In terms of a risk-reward trade, it's not too bad. Certainly YFI, it's a very established project. I don't think it really needs any introduction. I've also bought some other yield protocols. I've bought some Auto. I've bought some YFII. Looking at dexes, I've bought some Joe, I've bought some Cake, Sushi, DYDX, Balancer. So I've really gone full hog on all of these DeFi protocols. Now, two things that I'm looking to buy, which I haven't bought yet. One is Arweave. In fact, if I look at my plan Arweave, it's been my number one conviction coin. I've been looking to allocate 5% of my portfolio into Arweave. Now, the reason why I haven't is because I don't like this kind of chart here. It's just straight up. There's no retrace. There's just nothing. $9. I've drawn my fibs here. If we can get a nice 618 retest at $9, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and be comfortable buying my position in Arweave. Similarly, Near Protocol, another one of my big conviction coins. Where have I got here? 3%. It just took off with no decent retrace. Now at the 618, if I can get an order at $1.80, I mean, people will generally be panicking. The sentiment won't be great, but I'll be looking to accumulate, and I'll be ready to buy the dip at $1.80 and to buy my full position there. Now, other things which are important, this AI narrative, I'll admit I missed it. If we look at my FAQs here, FAQ 7 says, will I catch every altcoin that pumps? No, there are so many altcoins. I will miss out on most of the pumps that occur. I am fine with that. I shouldn't say I'm totally fine with that, but I am fine with that. It's almost impossible to catch all of the moves. And so if they take off, then I just have to be content with remaining on the sidelines and missing out. Now, having said that, I do have a watch list of all the AI coins, and I will be monitoring them, and assuming that we get the retrace that I expect towards the end of the year, and I'm talking like the last week of December when there's tax loss selling happening, that's when I'm going to look to accumulate some of the quality names. Now, I'm just going to share with you the full list of trades that I have done since the last video, which is a lot. I've been pretty busy. Now, if you are more interested, there is a link to the Google Sheet in the description below where I'll enter all of these trades as they happen. If you'd prefer notifications for any trade, there's a Discord channel where I post all my trades as they happen, so you can get notifications for that if that's something that you're interested in. Now, in terms of the portfolio, let's see how we're going. 121654. It is nice, I guess, to be up, because as I'm expecting some retracement, there's got to be a decent shakeout happening. It's just mentally nice to know that I can still have a buffer to draw down to my starting position of 100,000. Even if we go below that, I'm still comfortable with that because I know how volatile this market is, and I'm sticking to my plan, which is end of May is when I'm looking to kind of cash in all this work that I'm putting in now. So just want to say thank you so much for watching. Now, if you're able to find some value, please help out by liking and subscribing to the channel. I'm aiming to be back in another fortnight's time, so until then, let's always be looking for an edge. Take care until next time, and thanks for watching the 100,000 to $1 million challenge.